How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
I'm on a swing.
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore he'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Is he gonna jump off the cliff?
Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
Oh no.
I told him going around was impossible.
You've made a
Maybe
swing.
if I hadn't said that.
You made a swing pointing at a cliff. Why did you do that?
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it.
I don't want to do this anymore.
I think he'd already made up his mind.
Oh my god, it's actually making me nervous.
I remember about my brother.
Oh my god. I don't like it.
The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Holy crap. That was way too effective. That made me genuinely nervous. Like the camera angle and everything, like, Reminds me of why I do exactly not that on swings when I was younger, but also, like, they made a swing pointed at a cliff? That you were begging for that mistake to happen. Who doesn't jump off swings? I made a cliff swing. No. Point it in literally any other direction. Is it like the spirit of dead Sven just taking out the family one by one with terrible construction choices?
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
And he kept living in here. That would be rough. Oh, you
Mom
can see.
said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Okay, so he's only here until 18. That's still 7 years. He lived all of his teenage and middle school and so on years, all through middle school and high school, all being in a weird split room with his dead twin. You can see how it changed over time. It had the exact same design. You can see the setup. There's a staircase and a bridge and then a fort. This one has a staircase and a fort. Because they took the bridge down. Now it's just shelves. Which were, yeah, he had shelves too. Took the bridge down because it didn't make sense anymore to keep around. And he just turned that part into storage and shelving. That's actually really good detail. Like what you would logically do with that when you were older. Just one side of the room kept evolving over time, and the other one never did. Their interests are really well defined with these different characters. The painting and here's like the photography and the military and so on. Military sheets might be a little overboard on the imagery, but sure. Oh. What the heck? Just make real escape rooms. That's absurd.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Oh, look at that. You can sneak back out through there if you want. we can get back into the main house from here, or I could press forward into Barbara's room. 1944 to 1960.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
And then she died at age 16? Jeez.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
My friend Bigfoot. That's just so young.
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
We could go back to exploring the house from the outside if we want to. I think the connections, the passageways between rooms are probably the main progression, if there's gonna call it such a thing. I kind of want to poke around a little bit more because I wasn't quite ready for what I was getting myself into when I walked into that whale shark room. These rooms are sealed everywhere, huh? What they look like from this side.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
They all look so different through these. So they were 2 years apart in age, but she outlived him by 46 years? That's a huge gap. She lived like half her life afterwards.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Oh boy. I'm not sure which way I prefer. So like I could have known what these rooms were going to be in advance, or I could have just gone the way I did and been surprised as we went along. This kind of teases what each room's going to be. We know there's a library somewhere, and that's the main thing. I guess that was a joke at the time, the idea that like everyone in the family's buried in the library because the entire house is the library. The distortion effect here is a real trip.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
What kind of trip is it to like live in this to grow up in a house full of sealed rooms that you can't visit? It's interesting. I mean, when a member of a family passes, like when you hear about like parents that lose a child and stuff like that, you always hear about them not keeping everything the way it is and not wanting to touch anything in the room and stuff like that. So it's not crazy to think that they would like. It's not totally crazy to think that like maybe someone would just want to seal those rooms off instead. There's a whole area up here.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
So we need to find Mom's key then, which you probably find by making it to her room. I mean, would her own room have been sealed though? Let's do another check around downstairs just to see if I'm missing anything, but I don't think I am. So we'll probably go back through that crawl space. Seeing how some of these places are connected is going to be interesting. We're still looking for a key there too. Yeah, so we've seen the model of this room in Edie's room, but it's all shaped pretty differently now. I think... Yeah, we probably just want to get back on track. One more wind. Oh, someone broke the banister. Went crashing straight through it. Is that how somebody died? Oh. Look out for that possibility showing up in one of these stories. This house full of dead children. Yeah, you hear about people not wanting to go in the room of their missing child or dead family member and stuff like that, and leaving everything just the way it was. So I guess it's the logical extreme to then just seal it that way forever. As a museum to their life. Is Milton's room? No, right, you.
Growing
Barbara
up,
Finch.
I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Was some little girl in a Bigfoot movie? Looks like it's not really a horror movie. More of a funny 80s mishap type movie. Except for, of course, the actual year she was born was like, what, 44? Was that what it was? She had a toy. The Seattle Starlets. Everything was kept exactly how it was. Brand new high-fidelity turntables. That's one of the real trips of this, is besides the morbid fascination with these... Is that discarded tissues and stuff? Like, don't even get rid of those, huh? But besides the whole morbid fascination with death and everything, this is also like, these are weird portals into different time periods. These rooms were sealed during different decades. So it looks like she was a child star at one point, then she, as a teenager, she worked in a diner, it would look like. That's where she ended up, ultimately. And then something happened. Oh, God. Is that, like, a weird cake or something? Maybe take the... Maybe take the food out of the room before you seal it. Just that, maybe.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards. Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Am I playing the comic now? Oh my goodness. Okay. This is a trip.
Rick's crutch and imagine the worst.
Can I swing it? Oh my god, I can swing it. I'm gonna knock him the hell out. Get out of here, monsters. I'm gonna defeat you. Whoa, physics. Whoa. There are limitations to what this engine is ready to do. And I'm gonna press them to those limits. This is gonna become Evil Dead. I'll show you, damsel in distress. Blah. Getting the bleach monsters. Is he gonna jump out and scare me? And that's gonna be, I guess, the scream?
Man killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Cool, we're surrounded by weapons, and there's a killer on the loose. Good time for us. Good time for us.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Okay, am I gonna get killed by the killers or not? Is this the night she died? Die, room. Can't mess with anything in here. Halloween? Am I gonna fall through that? Trip on a skate or something? It's Walter's room.
Walter, are you there?
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
It's a good thing that we have all these insane passages.
That night, she played her part beautifully.
I close the doors behind me and stuff, so no one finds their way in.
She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
Jump on him! Jump on him from here! Take out his spine! Best plan. Well, now I know what happened to that. Turns out Barbara's a badass. Oh my goodness, look at that chair. Uh-oh.
Had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
This is my chance to find out what's in this room. No.
At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Just to have something about her in the end. So it sounds like she might have gotten killed by her boyfriend. Hard to say. That comic was so divorced from reality at that point, because it's just a fun, wacky, ridiculous conclusion for it all. But I wonder if that's what happened ultimately. Child star that gets killed by a deranged, detached from reality fan. Where am I going to go from here? Oh, right. I guess right back the way I came.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
So now is when I was supposed to go back out then. Is that we were revealed a secret in that story. We also were told why this happened. Possibly. That's the weird thing, right? Is like that story sounds like it's all fake and none of it means anything, but at the same time that banister is still broken. So was any of it real? Maybe it was just a killer and that's it. But now we know if I just keep winding and winding. A secret's revealed. AA battery bulk pack. I think we're gonna learn about Sven down here. It's his workshop. Well, it once was. Now it's probably an entertainment room or something. Laundry room. Those big old sinks. I never had a basement. The idea of having stuff to put down here is foreign to me, because it's just... We don't have basements.
Mom said the basement was off limits. Unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
I actually don't know if I've ever been in a real basement or attic in real life. Aww. It's like prototypes for the old dragon. And this is where they made the memorials. I wonder if they're meant to be memorials back then or not. Seems like they may have been prepped so long ago. What if they're old pieces of a project Sven was going to work on and never got to do because he died, so Edie uses them all for memorials of family members now. There's a table saw. He hurt himself a few times.
Sneaked down to the basement once, carrying packages.
So on top of dying with the dragon, he also managed to get hurt by the table saw, so he had multiple injuries.
She was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Oh no, it's their murder room. This is where they keep the fresh meat.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Everyone keeps more or less dying in the same house they grew up in at young ages, and even the one that lived forever was still stuck around. Walter. So did he give up on his... Seems like he gave up on his own room, because wasn't Walter's room... Yeah, Walter's room was the blue whale one. He was the one that hid it under the bed when seemingly his sister died in some way. I think was it just a killer and that's it? Probably no hook hand either, just something straightforward. But after that he moved to the basement in this, like his own bomb shelter more or less. And just stayed down here tinkering and hiding away. Obsessing over things, but living to the age of 53. He was planning on living for a while, then there you go. He died in March 2005. Hiding, perhaps, the whole time? Set up a fake window out here. It's all theatrics. We lost it.